Okay, and welcome to the Roller Derby City track at the Men's Roller Derby World Cup in Barcelona. You may have just heard the national anthem for Colombia, as we now hear the anthem for Denmark.
All right then, folks, we are not too far away from getting this game started. Game 49. How did we get to 49
That's
games?
a lot of
Punch?
games.
So, got myself here, Snoogans, joined with the fabulous Suffolk Punch, and we've got KP on production. Thank you very much, good sir. And we're going to see Denmark taking on Colombia.
Yeah, and exciting matchup here. Both these teams taking the win in the last games of yesterday. Denmark defeating Poland quite well, actually.
Sizable.
And Colombia very, very closely taking the win against the Philippines in the very last jam.
And what a jam was it?
Oh, my gosh.
I get the feeling that we're going to see some similar action here today. As we move sort of like further into the tournament, everything gets just that little bit closer. The teams get a little bit better matched. Yep. And not to say that things haven't excited previously, but they get even more exciting.
Definitely. And we have Sternbart here for Denmark. Big jammer yesterday, but he is called on a penalty, so we see a power jam in favour of Colombia. That is Hache.
And Hache's jammer, if they're seeing that Sternbart have been sent to the penalty box and now issuing lead jammer to Colombia. Was going for the apex jump there on turn 2. Didn't quite land it, but essentially kind of landed to a wall of Denmark.
Yes. Yep, that wall kind of stopped him dead a little bit as he continues to fight through this crazy pack.
Absolutely. Nice little dashes of offense there from his blockers. Not so much clearing the wall, but more breaking it up, making it easier to kind of take down piece by piece.
Yep. As, yep, we see Sternbart released from the box. He hits that wall of Colombia.
Sternbart, of course, still on his initial pass, picking up that penalty at the start of the jam. So he's definitely on the back foot here. Hesh already with 10 points in the bag. Makes the decision to call the jam there.
Yep, so just 10 points picked up for Colombia. An early lead for Colombia with Sternbart not able to make his initial pass. And coming up next, we have Knit and Run for Denmark with Zet for Colombia. Full complement of blockers on track. We've only had one penalty. I think it was with Jammer in the last jam, Sternbart. So all to play for in this game.
Absolutely, some really nice sort of scrum-style defense on display from both teams. However, Zet managing to get his hips around to complete that initial pick up the lead jammer. And Knit and Run, I was going to say having a little bit of trouble, but the inside line just cleared inexplicably for him to complete that pass.
Yeah, and Zet is through on his scoring pass. Decides to call the jam. think Knit and Run may have picked up 2 points there for Denmark. First score of the game for Denmark, 2 points. 3 points, though, picked up by Colombia, takes their score to 13.
So, of course, don't forget, folks, we are now into the full hour-length games. Rule sets all back to how we are familiar with them. 7 penalties to foul out, etc., etc. So this is just our first half of this wonderful game.
Excellent. So we have Cheering Pest for Denmark and Milu for Colombia.
Big contact there from Colombia's pivot.
That's El Majestic.
Yeah, a massive hit. Did come off track himself as well, but both he and Jammer reset. However, still ending up with lead Jammer for Cheering Pest.
Yeah, man, Cheering Pest, I think in yesterday's game, one of the higher scoring jammers for Denmark. Very impressive jammer. Milu mostly blocking yesterday, but obviously jamming today. So some tactic shake-ups here for Colombia. There's a little drive-by there by Milu, picks up 5 points for Denmark.
Really wonderful 2-wall up the front that was being controlled by number 22 Rat Attack for Denmark.
Oh, a great apex jump by the Cheering Pest. Calls the jam. Colombia managed to pick up 1 point at the end of that jam, 3 for Denmark. As it looks like we have a lead change.
That we do. You know the games, folks, you know. 15 Denmark, 14 Colombia. Still nearly 26 minutes left of this first half. Punch, I get the feeling that there's going to be a lot of this back and forth.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. So we've got Sternbart here again. Second time jamming him, Denmark, and Azazel for Colombia.
Multiplayer block being assessed to Azazel.
Wow.
The lesser spotted jammer multiplayer.
Yeah, but does happen. Those walls were super tight on that jam line.
Yeah, that was snug to say the least. So this is a power jam in favour of Denmark. Going to give them opportunity to stretch out that petite lead that they got in the last jam. Sternbot pushing hard against those walls. So really sitting even Stevens at the moment. 2 leads each, both teams with a jammer penalty. And I think that definitely shows in the scoreline that we're viewing at the moment.
Yep, Sternbart just managing to get through, scoring 5 points on that pass as Azazel out of the box.
Calm again, causing him all sorts of problems there on that first straightaway.
Yeah, that was a hard-fought pass there for Azazel out of the box. As we see another 2 points picked up there by Denmark, taking their score to 22, 14 points for Colombia.
And folks, this next jam brought to you by Cheeseball Bearing. Find your stride with the original handmade bearing. Cheeseball skates bearing, cheeseballs.com. That's cheese with a Z.
Next up we have Knit and Run for Denmark, Kaliman for Colombia. And it is Kaliman, your lead jammer for Colombia.
You mentioning earlier, Punch, about Colombia mixing it up a little bit, jamming people that hadn't jammed yesterday. Kaliman's actually the 5th different jammer we've had so far for Colombia. So looks like they are trying a variety of different things. And I've mentioned it before, you don't know, you can't guarantee that your set jammer rotation is going to be effective against every team you come up against.
Yeah, and it's great that the team's so flexible to have those depth of jammers to be able to cope with all different teams and different walls. And that's a great pass for Kaliman, 5 points. And I think we're going to see another lead change in this jam.
Another massive hit from Rat Attack. Could definitely see that he's quite the physically aggressive blocker, really keen on the offense. I'm sure his jammer greatly appreciates it. Yeah.
Yeah, as we see Knit and Run making his way actually out through the pack on his initial pass. Kaliman still in the pack, takes a big hit off to the outside and calls it just before Knit and Run can make his apex jump.
However, Knit and Run did pick up 2 points in that last pass, 4 on the board for Kalaman, but that does still see us with another lead change, 28-24 in favor of Colombia.
Yep, and it looks like we have Turing Pest for Denmark and Hache for Colombia.
Jam is on the pack, favouring the pivot line to start this time round. Works very well for Hache, picks up lead jammer for Colombia.
Yeah, and that is Hache, the most successful jammer for Colombia so far, 100% lead. As we see Turing Pest also out of the pack on his initial pass. Hache fighting his way through, takes off the star.
And of course, now that he's just trying to call it, having removed that star, now loses his lead jammer status.
Yep, so we'll be seeing the full and natural jam here, 2 minutes. As Hache tries to skip around the inside, doesn't quite have enough room. Turing Pest around the outside. And those Colombia blockers are taking a beating there. But
really digging in. Cutting penalty being assessed to Hache. So we're now in power jam territory for Denmark as we hit a tied jam, 28 points apiece.
Wow.
Such a scramble there on turn 2. However, Turing Pest does come through with a 5-point pass. Lead change.
Wow. Yeah, and the Colombia block out of the front just couldn't keep Turing Pest in. But now we have a 4-strong Colombia wall as we have a Denmark blocker in the box.
Holding incredibly solid coming into turn 3.
Ooh.
Turing Pest going for the outside, being met by number 30, Anthony. That jam was full on. Let's take another look. So that big hit.
So he didn't remove the cover, it actually fell off. So it wasn't intentional. Yeah, so we were just obscured from the view here from the announcers table. Very unfortunate there for Hache.
Absolutely, that sweep around the outside and that big hit from Anthony. Gorgeous.
Okay, we have Zet up to jam next and Sternbart.
Again, incredibly tight walls. Our pivot, Azazel, taking off Sternbart and helpfully pointing to him. No, here, you need to come back all the way here.
Yeah, and Zet just hit off to the outside there by Denmark. Taken all the way to the back. And the Denmark blockers a little bit disjointed.
Yeah,
as
I was going to say, sorry, the Danish blockers throwing some big hits, but none of them quite landing on Zet, managing to get himself around, looking to go low there. The tiniest fraction of a cut on Ratface, but he did manage to knock him to the infield, and he did return. So that's cut track being issued to Zet, and now Sternbart has completed his initial pass, picked up lead jammer, and it is a power jam in favour of Denmark.
Yep, I mean, they are a blocker down, so I think Sternbart's going to need some offense to get past these Colombia walls. And here comes Denmark blocker from the box as we see a jammer switch. So Sternbart in the box now as we see Zet out for Colombia.
That cheeseball penalty box, seeing a lot of jammer butts. So Zet now completed that initial, looking for a scoring pass. 17 seconds left on the clock. Certainly time for at least one scoring pass, potentially. Tried that apex there and called for the low block.
Yep. Yeah, there just wasn't enough room for him to land there as we see Sternbart released. Spinning around. 4 points picked up there by Zet in that jam, and 3 for Sternbart. Now we're going to see that apex jump again from Zet. No, just caught by the hips of that blocker.
Yeah, I was going to say, as he took off, you could see that his skate caught the leg of that Danish blocker, causing him to fall. So that's where we're going to pick up that low block, and that's what sent him to sit down.
Yeah, as we see knit and run starting for Denmark on a power start.
So it's interesting, while we see that Colombia are mixing it up and playing a variety of different jammers, Denmark deciding that if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and sticking with that 3-jammer rotation, same one that had such success against Poland yesterday evening. But there's still only 3 points in it, Punch. 40 Denmark, 37 Colombia, and that is an incredibly tight 2-wall at the front of that pack there from Colombia.
Yeah, and we saw Zet out of the box, but called quite quickly on a low block, another low block, so he is back in the box. So we see another power jam for Denmark.
Nice takeoff on the inside by Rock and Roller for Colombia, and resetting very quickly with his pivots to make sure that he was in place to capitalize on the recycle, basically.
Yeah, and El Majestic was one of the power players for Colombia yesterday, I think, in the game that I saw with the Philippines. Definitely one to watch.
So Zet back out of the penalty box once again. Oh man, manages to find heaps of space on the outside line to complete that first pass. But incredible penalty kill by Colombia.
Yeah, and again taken off by Rock and Roller to the outside in that 3-0 out. Now into big hit by Nurgle on the outside, taking off Rock and Roller. As we see knit and run all the way recycled to the back by Zuluaga A.
So knit and run not actually managing to complete a pass in that jam. Let's just take another look at that wall.
We have a little pile up. I'm sorry about
that. My apologies, good sir.
But immediately see that 3-wall reforming.
Yeah, but they didn't give him a second. Lead change.
Oh my God.
45 Colombia, 40 Denmark. We are in a team timeout. This timeout brought to you by MRDWC merch. The official merchandise for MRDWC 2018 can be purchased online at mrdwc.com/merch. I have been intelligently informed, we'll say that, that as well, if you're watching at home and you've seen some of the stuff that's available, and possibly you may not be able to get it through the website we've just mentioned, Roller Derby City have informed us that they will have items available on their website. If you look now, it will currently show as sold out. They will be waiting until the tournament's over so they can take stock of everything that's still remaining, but it will be going on sale afterwards.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, they have some really nice hoodies, t-shirts, vests.
Water bottles.
She says drinking from her water bottle. Cool, so back to the action. We have cheering pest jamming for Denmark, Milu for Colombia. And cheering pest finds space on the outside for lead jammer. As Milu also through the pack.
Cheering pest already making his way to the pack, inside line, finds space, 4-point pass.
Yeah, there's some great communication from the Denmark bench there, asking cheering pest to call it off. I don't think he realised Milu was so close behind him.
So this is now just a 1-point game, 14.5 minutes left on the clock. And just 9 jams so far as well. We've been playing a lot of longer jams. And I think that's a testament to the defense that we're seeing from both teams.
Yeah, yeah. Very. And we have both teams equal percentage on the lead jammers, 4 each. Super tight. As we see Sternbart and Hatche, but it is Sternbart your lead for Denmark.
Hatche, big hit, takes down that blocker. Sternbart already at the pack once more.
Yep, he's doing some hip flips around that Columbia wall, decides to call it. He should have some points. Yep, 3 points there picked up by Sternbart. As we see in the lead change, 47 for Denmark, 45 for Columbia.
This is absolutely phenomenal. We knew that this was going to be a good game. We knew it was going to be pretty close. I mean, folks, we are absolutely spoilt with the quality of games we have been all weekend. And as I mentioned, things move through and get closer. But this might be the game of the day.
The lead is changing every single jam. This is amazing. As we see El Majestic now with the star for Columbia. First time we've seen him jam in this game. And it looks like Turin Pest for Denmark.
Yeah, Turing Pest still looking for that first pass. Tripod wall with the assist on the inside line. Columbia not offering any offense, leaving their jammer to work through it on his own.
Ooh, there's a big hit there by the Denmark blockers, taking El Majestic off of his feet. Oh, but he managed to do that beautiful beam dip on the outside to get through. 5 points for El Majestic on that pass. Turing Pest still to make his initial pass as the Columbia wall reforms straight in front of him.
Oh, beautiful control on the outside line from Turing Pest. Stepping around those blockers, managing to keep inbounds for very little space, to be honest.
Yeah. And 3 points there picked up by El Majestic. Takes Columbia to 53-47 for Denmark.
Both these teams, of course, thoroughly enjoying, I should imagine, their very first Men's Roller Derby World Cup experience.
Yes, of course.
Just so exciting. I just love seeing how these teams progress, especially in their first tournament, how they can progress over the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially Denmark last night having numbers disadvantage against Poland, but still taking the win. Very impressive teamwork from Denmark last night. As we have some jammer on jammer action, Sternbart and Kaliman.
Kaliman managing to take him off. Take off Sternbart and recycle him back round to turn 3.
Oh, and big hit there by Tota of Columbia. Takes Sternbart to the back.
Kaliman is your lead jammer. His pivot heading to the penalty box, number 61, Nady. Sternbart just managing to stay in bounds after taking that big hit.
Yeah, that was Bushin, who is now on his way to the box. Kaliman, of course, on a scoring pass, as is Sternbart.
Kaliman going in butt first.
But his butt earns 1 point. None for Denmark in that jam. Didn't quite get through to the pack in time. As we see a few blockers in the box now. 2 for Columbia, 1 for Denmark. So we have a pack advantage here to Denmark. We have Turing Pest for Denmark.
And that's 019 Azazel, who's gone for the jammer takeoff once again. Wow. Explosive contact there off that pivot line. And even with the pack disadvantage, Azazel picking up lead jammer for Columbia once more.
Yep, as we see, Turing Pest also out of the pack on his initial pass. Azazel calls the jams bench. Again, very good communication from the bench, getting him to call that. And we see a replay of Azazel.
That big initial contact. Kabloom! Of course, our wonderful replays are powered by vMix live streaming software, vmix.com. These guys are making us look so damn good.
I know, I love these replays, especially the slow-mos. They're amazing.
Gotta love a slow-mo replay.
So we have Sternbart and Milu.
Slightly fuller pack than we've seen for the last few jams. Just one blocker standing in the box for Denmark.
Yep, a strong Colombia 3-wall at the back. Gets some offense there from unnecessary evil from Denmark, but Sternbart still not able to get through as Milu is your lead for Colombia.
Yeah, Milu taking a big hit coming around the outside of turn 1, but used that sort of that motion and went with it, used the kind of kinetic energy, used it to his advantage, did a bit of a spin, planted his skates back on the floor, forwards. Interestingly, we were talking a lot about jammer rotations. Denmark appear to have dropped to a 2-jammer rotation at present, and they've not actually picked up lead jammer since making that tactical change.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough as a jammer, being only having 1 jam rest before going on again.
Yeah.
Most of the teams I'm seeing have a 3, if not 4 or 5 jammer rotation. Yeah. So that is tough for Denmark.
I mean, obviously, Denmark, we can see from our sheets, the smaller in numbers team. You've got to wonder if there is a tactical decision on that. If they're saving people, if they're going for the second half, there could be so many things. But that lead has spread out considerably. Colombia now 72, Denmark 47.
Yeah, as we're seeing Milu stuck behind the Denmark wall.
And Sternbart picking up a forearms penalty. So this is now power jam in favor of Colombia. Seconds left on the clock means the next jam is going to start on a power jam start for Colombia as well.
And here's a replay of Milu.
Just that contact on the outside.
Yeah. Yeah, some great spinning, hip flipping action there from Milu. And I've just noticed the star for Colombia with their sort of emblem of the, I don't know what you'd call it, a raging ape.
Let's go with that. Screaming ape.
And we have Hatche for Colombia taking that power start. And able to make the most of that by getting lead jammer as Sternbart is still in the box.
Denmark with a number of blockers in that cheese ball bearing penalty box, 1 standing, 1 sitting, along with a stood jammer.
And Colombia with some great tactics here. We've got 2 walls, keeping the Denmark blockers apart from each other. Very effective power jam offense.
Massive hit from El Majestic, taking Sternbart off his skates. Quick recovery, though, sees him up and fighting once again to battle his way through the remaining blockers.
Yep, as we see Sternbart now on a scoring pass, but calls off the jam by Colombia, denying Denmark any points. So 3 picked up on that last pass for Colombia.
Somehow we've got just over 5 minutes left of this first half. I know, excuse me, that first 10-15 minutes just raced with all of those lead changes. It just ate through the minutes, like utterly unbelievable.
So we have Turing Pest now up for Denmark and Azazel for Colombia. It's been 5 jams since Denmark scored any points, but the one to do it is Turing Pest, and he is your lead. Like I say, he was a big scorer for Denmark last night against Poland. And getting lead is definitely going to help. He is taken off to the inside, but Azazel just can't get past those Denmark blockers as Turing Pest makes a skip round inside. 5-point pass for him.
We are 35 seconds into this jam, and Azazel has only just completed his initial pass. it's almost as if something happened in that last 30 seconds between the jams and Denmark just reset. Quick look at that pushing against that 3 wall. And just enough space.
As we see it in slow-mo.
That blocker going butt first.
Yeah, that was good.
So we've got some fresh legs with the star covering them for Denmark. Carmageddon, number 5, up against Milu for Colombia. Milu looking for the inside, being shut down by that man mountain. Waste of time.
Yeah, but Milu just small enough and fast enough to get around that Denmark wall. But Carmageddon is now out for Denmark as Milu on a scoring pass.
Great communication between from bench to track. I don't think Milu was aware that Carmageddon was on a scoring pass, but heard the call from his bench. Tap, tap, tap.
Yep, and looks like we have Cheering Pest again for Denmark and Kalaman for Colombia.
This next jam brought to you by Roller Derby Elite, the brand that is the sport, rollerderbyelite.com.
Okay, we have a full complement of blockers on the track. Turing Pest and Kaliman fighting through the walls. And it's Kaliman for Colombia, your lead jammer. Turing Pest having trouble with that 3-wall at the front.
Kalaman now taking a second run at that Danish defense. Does find the second attempt successful.
Yep, that's a 5-point pass as Turing Pest still wasn't on his initial, but now completes his initial. As Kaliman now out of the pack, calls the jam. That'll be another 4 points for Colombia, taking their score to a tantalizing 99.
Absolutely. If we just take a quick look at sort of the jammer, the points per jam over this first half as we move towards the last couple of minutes, the minute and a half, it's been a bit sporadic.
Yeah, it looks a bit like a roller coaster, this one.
Yes. I feel like this is some kind of maths that's trying to tell me something really involved, and I can't quite figure it out.
It looks pretty.
Yeah.
Cool. So we have Azazel for Colombia and Sternbart for Denmark. And it's Azazel who gets lead. Sternbart taken off to the outside at the back. As we see a Colombia blocker go to the box, Sternbart again, recycled to the back by Zuluaga A. With Zet as well in there as pivot.
Zezel going into the pack. He has lost his helmet cover. It's just slipped off his helmet.
Ah, yes, he's just noticed. Thank you very much, reaching between the legs of
Excuse me.
the Denmark blocker rat attack. Yeah, I need that, thank you very much.
Sternbart was coming up to the pack to look for some points, was denied by that call-off. And there's that reach.
That reach through.
But kudos to Denmark for that tactical knowledge. Obviously, you can't like physically step on a helmet cover, but you can do your darndest to try and stop somebody getting to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, folks, that takes us to halftime. That last jam taking Colombia over the century. Score sitting 55 Denmark, 109 to Colombia. What a half.
Yeah, I mean, so close for a lot of that half, but Colombia now taking a bit of a lead. I think the depth in their jammer rotation, the amount of physical skaters they have, they're able to have more rest, the blockers and the jammers.
Yeah.
And I think that is showing now in the score.
Absolutely. I suspect that we'll see this break rejuvenating the Danish pack, and I'm hoping that we'll see them coming out fighting again in that second half, and we'll see more of what we saw at the beginning of the game. Folks, we're going to take a break. We'll catch you back here probably in about 10 minutes.
Okay, off you go. Bye.
Sometimes your feet slide around in your skates. They can be packed out from years of love, or maybe they just never fit right from the beginning. Either way, it can adversely affect your agility, edge work, and toe stop skill. Don't let foot slippage mess with your game. Check out Bruce skate straps. They wrap around your boot and plate to keep your feet snug so you can be better. They are lightweight, easy to strap on, and they look pretty good too. Skate straps are available in tons of colors and patterns. Check them out on Etsy or bruisedsn.com.
We really miss the feeling of spontaneously visiting a store and trying out the newest gear. A hangout for all roller skaters. Everyone has their own unique style. Because of our large assortment, we can now personalise roller skates while you wait, so you can try them out right away. Our mission is to fit you with the right gear, and don't forget to turn left.
closer. Yes, yes, let's do that.
Okay, and we are live back at the Men's Roller Derby World Cup in Barcelona. That's where we are. So we're just going to go through the rosters for you. First, for Denmark.
Yes, for Denmark, we have 008 Misdemeanor, 0416 Waste of Time, 113 Raven Roller, 114 Knit and Run. Number 2 is Turing Pest, 211 is Nurgle, 22 is Rat Attack, 260 is Sternbart, 5 is Carmageddon, and 667 is Unnecessary Evil.
Yep, and quickly for Colombia. Here is your roster for Colombia. Azazel, VR Hyde, Kaliman, Milu, El Majestic, Rock'n'Roller, Zet, Tot, Anthony, Zuluaga, Hauzata, Nadi, Hulkman, Bushin, and Hatche. And we have Milu up to Jam and Knit and Run for Denmark.
Just to remind you folks, 55 Denmark, 109 Colombia. We just had a quick look over on the M14 Industries track, and scores are currently sitting, I believe it was 74 Philippines, 53 Poland.
Yeah, incredibly close game over on the other track. But it is Milu taking your lead for Colombia in the first jam of the second half of this game. Knit and Run hit off to the outside. Now, Knit and Run had a bit of a break from jamming in the first half, but we see him back on the rotation now as Milu at the front manages to get around the last Denmark blocker. 5 points for Colombia.
Knit and Run, meanwhile, still pushing, has managed to get that 3-wall right to the front of the pack, and no doubt is going to try and push those guys out of play.
Yep, as Milu comes round for another 5 points around the outside, as we see El Majestic and Bushin for Colombia as a 2-wall, managing to keep back Knit and Run. As unfortunately Bushin goes for a multiplayer block, goes to sit in the Cheese Balls Bearings penalty box. Knit and Run completed his initial pass, but not able to score any points. Jam called off by Milu. Just 1 point picked up there by Milu at the end of the jam, as we see him on the replay getting past that last blocker. He may be small, but he is mighty.
Absolutely. Love this slow-mo stuff. VMix, folks, it's what it's all about.
Yep, and we have Turing Pest now for Denmark and Azazel for Colombia. And it's Turing Pest. First lead jam for Denmark in this half.
Absolutely, Colombia with 2 blockers in the penalty box, and the Danish defence doing a really good job at actually, well, more offence really, doing a really good job of kind of distracting the 2 remaining blockers on track to give plenty of space for Turing Pest to get through and pick up lead. Looks like we have had a star pass in the Colombian ranks.
Ooh.
Number 61, Nadi, now your active jammer, putting the star cover on his helmet as I speak. Oh, that was very pleasant.
Yeah, as Turing Pest taken to the outside, calls the jam before we can have any points scored by Colombia. 5 points picked up there by Denmark on that pass. As we see Turing Pest make his route through the pack on the replay. Next up, we have Sternbart for Denmark, Zet for Colombia. Yep, so we don't have anyone in too much penalty trouble. We just have Rat Attack on 4 penalties for Denmark. Waste of Time, Nurgle, Sternbart, and Unnecessary Evil on 3. Zet and Nadi on 3 for Colombia. No one else in too much trouble. But we do see the Colombia jammer on his way to the box. That is Zet. As we see a real opportunity for Sternbart here for Denmark.
So that now brings Zet up to 4 penalties. So both teams now with at least 1 skater on 4. This is, of course, Power Jam to Denmark. Score's currently 65 to 120 in favour of Colombia. Colombian defense is just sublime. Really zipped up. Great penalty kill once again. Zet back on track now.
Yeah, we've got El Majestic for Colombia there, controlling that defensive wall.
And Zet heading back to the penalty box for cutting and then getting issued that misconduct penalty as well for not leaving the track quick enough. So that's going to be a full minute in the cheese ball bearing penalty box for, oh no, it's not. Before I can even finish the sentence, Sternbart picking up a cut penalty. So of course, jammers work in pairs. So yes.
So the rule changes that have happened mean that we have the jammers on the track more often. So as soon as one jammer is in the box, the other one is released. So Sternbart released from the box.
Yes, from memory, it's been a while since I've been a penalty box manager. Sternbart's penalty essentially cancelled out one of Zet's. So he served the remaining time for that first penalty.
Cool, so 4 points scored there for Denmark, taking their score to 69. Colombia on 122. As we have Turing Pest lining up for Denmark with Hache for Colombia. So all blockers on the track now. Both the jammers scoring multiple points for their teams. As Hache, I thought he might have found a way through on the inside, didn't quite make it. Denmark blockers hitting off to the inside.
Yeah, got denied by waste of time. Right place, right time, and just shut him down. And that means Turing Pest had space to pick up lead jammer, while Hache is still trying to get through on the first time.
Yeah, and unfortunately Hache picks up a cut on the inside, so he will sit in the cheese balls bearings penalty box for a penalty. So another power jam for Denmark.
Yeah, as I predicted, hoped, whatever, however you want to word it, going into the halftime, Denmark seem to have put things back together a bit. They've had that rethink, and that little break has worked out for them.
Yeah, they definitely have a bit more momentum at the start of this second half. Colombia not making it easy. Their defense is super together, super strong. But Turing Pest now scoring points. Hache hits that Denmark tripod at the back.
Multiple failure to reforms being issued to Danish blockers after being fairly warned by rear IPR Rourke that they were out of play.
Yeah, and Denmark definitely in some penalty trouble in this half, giving Colombia some opportunities.
10 unanswered points on the board for Denmark in that jam, though. .43 points separate these teams now. 22 minutes remaining of this game. Knit and Run and Milu up on the jammer line. Once again, we're seeing the pack much closer towards the pivot line to start, and that works out just wonderfully for Milu.
Yeah, I think Milu with some speed is able to get through, so he likes that run up from the jam line. As Knit and Run held back by the Colombia wall at the back. Again, El Majestic controlling that wall. As Milu turns his way around that last Denmark blocker. 5 points on that pass for him. But Knit and Run is able to make it out of the pack on his initial pass. As Milu hits on a scoring pass. Decides to call it. He scored 2 points on that pass, and we're just going to see as he comes through. That was his initial.
Little bit of an apex jump. Blocker on the corner there did manage to take him down, but he still landed very safely inbounds. He had plenty of space.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Carmageddon for Denmark. He sort of added to the jammer rotation later in the first half, and Zet for Colombia.
Yeah, just the second jam for Carmageddon. And Zet finding space on the outside. I thought he was still stuck in the middle of the Danish pack. How wrong was I? Carmageddon trying a little bit of the fifth blocker action at the back of the pack. Manages to land a hit on Zet, but it's not enough to slow him down.
No, and Raven Roller, the Denmark blocker at the front, can't stop Zet, so he is able to get through on his scoring pass. As Carmageddon also out of the pack. As Zet taken down by Unnecessary Evil. Calls off the jam. I've had enough of that, thank you very much. I'll take the 3 points.
Yeah, why not? Massive hit there, stopping Zet in his tracks.
And here's that last hit.
Down I go.
Okay, we have Kalaman for Colombia and Turin Pest for Denmark.
The jam is getting straight into it. Kalaman finds the inside line. Just manages to keep himself in bounds after taking a tumble there after picking up lead jammer. Meanwhile, Turin Pest against a full complement, a full 4 blocker pack for Colombia.
Yep, as Kalaman is recycled all the way to the back by the Denmark wall.
Turin Pest shrugging off a big hit from Nadi to complete his initial. Bit of a jam race in action now.
Yep, I think Turin Pest was waiting for Kalaman to call that one off. He wasn't speeding up too much, doesn't want to waste too much energy.
No. There's that replay again of that attempted apex jump.
Oh, yes,
Lots of stepping in field.
Yep.
Definitely take yourself back on that one.
Back in 2.
Yep, so great awareness there from Kalaman of Colombia. Next up we have Milu and Sternbart. So I feel like Sternbart's had a few jams rest now. So hopefully he's got a bit of energy left, but Milu is a ball of energy as he tries to get around the outside of the Denmark wall.
Sternbart taking those hits, rolling with them. Again, managing to push that 3 wall to the front, but just taken off on the outside of that second straightaway. And that's Milu picking up lead. Did take him around about 33, 34 seconds, though. So kudos to the Danish defense.
Yep, as Sternbart still stuck behind that Colombia wall. Just Zuluaga to get past, but Sternbart is past and through on his initial pass.
Zuluaga going for the offensive move, but placed himself in just the wrong position, so he actually blocked his jammer. I always wonder if in a situation like that, jammers kind of go, dude, friendly fire, what are you doing?
Now, one of the members back home at Suffolk Roller Derby, she likes to shout at you when you're in her way as a blocker. She's like, get out of the way! Devilbird, I love you. As we see the replay here, we see Milu coming around. You can tell it's Milu. I can see the dreadlocks underneath the wall.
Yep. And that's definitely Milu #butt first. Look at that. That's nothing but first.
You always want to go butt first in roller derby.
Always.
That's the point. That's the point.
It's advisable. So this team timeout, folks, is brought to you by Bruised Skate Noose. Bruised skate straps. Skates just don't quite fit right. Don't let foot or heel slippage mess with your game. Check out Bruised skate straps. They wrap around your boot and plate to keep your feet in place so you can improve agility. Better with Bruised skate straps. BruisedSN.com.
Cool, so that team timeout is over. We can just see a quick breakdown of the points per jam. So we can see significantly more leads for Colombia in this game. And they've scored in a lot of the last jams. I think the last 4 jams, Denmark have to score. Well, they have scored nothing. So next up, we have Knit and Run for Denmark and Zet for Colombia.
So will this be the jam where Knit and Run picks up lead? He has jammed a number of times. Obviously, he did have that big break towards the latter half of the first half, so to speak. But we've got a big pullback by Zet.
Yeah, I think Colombia with some time management here, wanting to waste some time. They're quite significantly in the lead at the moment. It could all change, but Knit and Run really needs the points. So Zet takes them all the way back. Both jammers now back on track. Take off there from El Majestic. Takes Knit and Run to the inside. But Zet manages to keep in bounds on the outside for lead jammer.
Seeing that Azazel rejoin the pack from the penalty box, I dare say that you're right, bit of time management, running the clock so that they've got their full complement of blockers on to give them the best possible start to this jam.
Yeah, as Knit and Run held back by the Colombia blockers. That is El Majestic contacting Knit and Run.
Absolutely wonderful transitional footwork there from Zet. Just making it look so easy when...
Oh, and an apex jump.
Just, will you stop? Save some for the rest of us. I mean, don't save it for me, I don't skate. It would be wasted on me.
And Zet again through with a spin and a hop for 5 points. As Knit and Run yet to make his initial pass. So we're seeing a bit of a pile up there on turn 2 as Knit and Run finally makes his way out. But Zet is pretty happy with that jam. Big smile on his face.
I mean, as well he should be. Big 25-point jam there.
And
biggest jam of the game.
Here we can see his work, his edges on the outside. Incredible.
Edges for days. I know we're gonna see the apex jump as well.
Here we go.
So
and
close.
We are back live. We have Kalaman for Colombia and Turin Pest for Denmark.
Kalaman is your lead jammer, already coming up round on a scoring pass. Turin Pest just now breaking through, around about 20 seconds to complete that initial pass.
Yep.
Kalaman looking to his bench now.
Yep, bench is saying carry on. So again, I think bench communicating to run the clock a little bit as much as they can. They want to try and maintain this lead. Here's the apex jump from Zet in the previous jam. There we go, very lovely.
Nice. Thanks, wonderful studio crew.
Okay, we have Hatche for Colombia, Sternbart up for Denmark. Very serious faces.
You see, you're with the game. You're like, very serious faces, and my brain just went mustache across the nations. That's apparently where I am today. So we've had 6 jams since Denmark have put any points on the board. Sternbart now is your lead jammer. However, no doubt going to be looking to try and make an impact on this scoreline.
Yeah, but Hatche also out of the pack. Sternbart will have some points from this jam. but unfortunately he goes to the box on a cut penalty. So we have a power jam in favor of Colombia.
So that's going to 5 up for Hache now.
And some great blocking there from Rat Attack from Denmark. Didn't manage to keep back Hache as they reform a wall at the front.
Nurgle making his way back on track and saying, I'm here, let me through, and really kind of bullying his way through those Colombian blockers to rejoin his pack. Pack advantage now to Denmark for place 3. As Sternbart makes his way back on track.
Yep, and Sternbach jamming through the Colombia wall, then pushing his way through his own wall. Is he able to stay in? He is able to stay in. No, I'm afraid that's another cut track for Sternbart. Must have been something on the inside line.
So I did wonder, as I could see that he was kind of stepping along.
He was close.
Yeah, I get the feeling there was probably some wheels touched in.
So second power jam in this jam for Colombia.
And that was a star pass. That was El Majestic that ended that jam as jammer for Colombia.
Yeah, as we can see, Hache
Big hit.
getting through. 20 points scored by Colombia in that jam, takes their score to 192. As we have Milu taking the power start. Of course, Sternbart in the box. Cheeseballs Bearings penalty box. And is Milu who is through. And I think Milu has been one of the most successful jammers for Colombia in this game. He didn't jam too much yesterday. Obviously, they must have been saving him a little bit. And well worth it, I think, for this game. As we see Sternbart released straight into that tripod of Colombia at the front.
That is an incredibly solid 3-wall.
Yeah, Sternbart, he really took advantage of the penalty on Hulkman there. Just skipping through on the inside as Hulkman left for the penalty. As we see Milu on the replay. Juking to the outside, jumping to the inside.
And just going for it.
Yeah, very, very agile. As we have a team timeout called by Denmark, we can tell you about Quad Skate Shop, Europe's original brick and mortar skate shop. Outstanding selection with a delivery guarantee. You can also check them out online at quadrollerskateshop.com. So we can see some more highlights. That's Azazel hitting the pack. Turing Pest also there.
It's just been such an incredible game. Absolutely thrilling as we started, so close, so back and forth in that first sort of 10-15 minutes. And just it's been really interesting to see how Colombia have pulled away, and they've really kind of put their stamp on this game.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to 2020.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing sort of the Latin American, the South American nations doing superbly well. I mean, Argentina, Colombia, they are doing amazing. Mexico, Chile,
Just
they're really coming through. I think that's, you know, the exciting future of roller derby. So we are back at the game. We have Turing Pest taking a power start. No, not power start. Zet was confusing me, acting as a third blocker in that wall, waiting for the Colombia to come out the wall. So we have Turing Pest jamming for Denmark.
El Majestic picking up a cut penalty just as Bushin makes his way back on track. And that's going to be Zet picking up a cut penalty as well. So we've got pack advantage, Denmark, and Turing Pest is now your lead jammer on this power jam for Denmark.
I hope I didn't jinx that.
I won't tell them, it's fine. We can edit that out, right?
Sure. Okay, Turing Pest now on the scoring pass. Some offense there, coordinated from Denmark. But those blockers from Colombia so fast at reforming at the front. I mean, they don't give an inch.
No.
El Majestic just there bridging for his pack, allowing them to still block Turing Pest.
I mean, quite frankly, I think that if they know that if they were to give Turing Pest an inch, he would take several miles.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a fast jammer. He just needs that space.
Yeah.
So they know that if they can clamp down and hold him and try and sort of control that lateral movement of his as well, they're going to stand a much better chance of preventing him from doing what he really wants to do and score the points.
Yeah, as we see Turing Pest recycled to the outside. We have all sorts of things going on.
Just a full 2-minute jam, first one we've seen in a little while.
Yeah.
9 points on the board, 9 unanswered points on the board for Denmark, and that jam brings them up to 92. Previous jam saw Colombia break that double century, so it's 201 to 92. And just having another look at those points per jam so far, it's clearly been very way in favour of Colombia, but there's some nice little kind of peaks for Denmark where they've had some impactful jams.
Yeah, when Colombia's been having a few penalties, Denmark have definitely capitalised on that. But unfortunately, we see Sternbart off to the box for a cutting penalty. So this is power jam for Nadi of Colombia. And it is Nadi's first time with the star in this game. He's doing pretty good so far. Lead jam and 5 points on his first scoring pass.
Take a big old hit that saw him landing on his backside. But quick recovery. Nice little bit of offense there from Anthony.
Yeah, and again, I think the depth of the gemma rotation, Nadi is doing very well.
Yeah.
And he hasn't even jammed until now. So they've still got some in the bag in this game. As Nadi just passed through unnecessary evil for another 5 points. Sternbart is standing behind the box, which signifies that he's probably fouled out of this game. So we'll continue with just Nadi as your jammer for Colombia.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Punch. As he went to the box, I was looking to see if I could see some penalty tracker hands, but with the pack doing pack things, I wasn't able to catch sight. But yeah, I can see, as you've mentioned, clearly stood behind the box. That's going to be a foul out, so we've still got another 23 seconds of this extended power jam for Colombia. Although Nadi has just picked up a cut, so that will obviously call the jam dead.
Yep, so we just for the officials make sure everything's done and the paperwork's all done. We can tell you about Sucker Punch Skate Shop, the largest Derby owned and operated store in Europe, operation online, and they do have a physical store heavily involved in the European Derby community on a number of levels, known for their reliable service.
So this jam starting with a power start in favour of Denmark. Nadi in the box from the end of the previous jam. We've got a dropped helmet cover, and that is a blocking with the head penalty being assessed to Carmageddon. It's third time on to jam, so we'll have a jammer switch out. Of course, this penalty for Carmageddon means that still no lead jammers for him.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for some jammers to be released. It looks like the Colombia jammer, number 61, Nadi, just putting some pads back on. So we'll have Carmageddon released first. That's unusual. But Carmageddon is out of the pack.
And of course, because he started in the box, Nadi is still eligible for lead jammer. Although
Nods, I think the helmet cover.
I was going to say, he's completed his initial pass, but the helmet cover is on track, so that will not count.
Yeah, luckily he has noticed, he picked it up. He's now on a scoring pass. As we see a star pass to number 33, Zuluaga A.
That's a big jammer.
He is
he's
large.
He's a big jammer. He's a log jammer. And Carmageddon heading back to the penalty box. As you will recall, Carmageddon, well, he was penalty free. That's 2 in 1 jam. Let's take a quick look at some bits from that jam that we've just seen. That was the successful pass that Carmageddon got to complete in that jam. Did put 5 points on the board, so there he has had a successful jam, so to speak.
Yep, and we're seeing an official review called by Denmark. So we'll give you the information on that as soon as we can on our ref mic, which is very exciting.
Love it.
As we can see some action here from earlier in the game. We see Milu jamming around Denmark.
It's just all toe stops.
Toe stops and jumping.
Toe stops and jumping. And nice weavy lateral movements. All technical terminology here, folks.
Yeah, and here's Turing Pest using that speed. And there's the jumping.
There's the jumping.
As we see a little bit of track pair going on. The crowd starting to get excited at the end of this game. Just under 3 minutes actually left to go in this game.
Yes, of course. I urge you, when this game finishes, to switch over to our track 2, the M14 industry track, to catch the last 15 minutes, of Philippines v Poland. As we give you some information. Scores.
And actually the Philippines running away with it at the moment, 146-61. You can see in the corner of your screen. They're going to be super happy. They were so gutted last night, so gutted to lose it in the last jam. They're going to be so happy if they can manage to hold on to that lead.
It's going to be I should imagine there's probably an awful lot of noise coming from that track right now.
I should imagine so. So you can see some of our crowd there. They were getting very excited about the end of this game. And our referees in our huddle talking about that official review.
And I know that everybody's been thoroughly enjoying this game, as we hope you have at home as well. But I know that a big reason why a lot of people are going to be getting excited right about now is because after this game, here on the Roll Down City track, we are going to have what I can only describe as, at the risk of sounding incredibly cliched, a clash of titans.
Oh, I'm so excited.
England v Australia. It's going to be an absolutely phenomenal game. Whatever happens, regardless of the scoreline, I know that our producer KP has probably got some feelings about my comments here. I'm just looking forward to some really incredible roller derby.
Absolutely, yeah. And I was talking to someone who's been a very good friend, Charlie Scraplin, jammer for Team England. He's can't wait to go up against Sausage Rolls.
Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. It's going to be insane.
It's going to be insane. Yeah.
They're two very different styles of team. Different styles of... I'm.
I think
I've already-
Snickers is lost for words. Oh my God.
I am. I've already got my jacket on the chair just in front of the studio. I'm going to post a photo on Facebook of my view from the track, and you can all. I'll be quiet.
Yeah, so Team Denmark were requesting a extra penalty for the blue jammer for removing equipment in the penalty box. It was a safety concern, so we held the jammer in the box, and that's why no additional penalty will be assessed.
Okay, thank you very much to our head ref, Scar, I believe,
Scarborough,
of
yes.
Manchester Roller Derby. Thank you for that clarification.
Of course, removing equipment would normally be a penalty-worthy action, but as you've probably heard me say a million times before, the safety of our skaters and officials is absolutely paramount. So fair play that decision has been made. So we're going to move into a fresh jam. El Majestic picking up lead jammer on this power jam start. Carmageddon starting in the box from the previous jam.
Yeah, and I think El Majestic, one of the game-changing players for Team Columbia. Amazing blocking and clearly pretty good jamming too. Carmageddon, though, does get out for Denmark.
Out of the box and straight through the pack. The blockers never saw him coming.
Oh, Carmageddon was so close to hit that wall.
I feel remiss to mention Denmark breaking the century in the previous jam that they that points win on the board there for Carmageddon. So massive kudos to them for breaking that milestone as well. I know they obviously secured a lot more points against Poland yesterday, but this half of this game has been a lot more difficult for them compared to the explosive start that they had to the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, and we're seeing Turing Pest and Rock and Roller, first time jamming for Columbia. Rock and Roller hits to the outside, comes back on. Manages to cede his position, avoiding the cut penalty. But we have a no pass, no penalty, so Rock and Roller is not your lead jammer, so lead still available for Turing Pest. Yeah, and again, we're seeing that strategy of Columbia. They're still mixing up their strategy. Obviously, Rock and Roller on his first jam of the game, they've just got so many tactics to throw out there to get their points.
Absolutely, and I mean, in terms of, I know that the pride that people feel from representing their country, and I know that a lot of people sort of consider jamming to be a real kind of honour and right up there. And you've got to wonder if, as we move into the last seconds of this game, there might be an element of, is there anybody on this bench who really wanted to jam for Columbia? And Rock and Roller probably went, me, give me the star, I want to do it. My mum's watching. And he's having a hell of a jam.
Hello to Rock and Roller's mum at home.
Yes. If you're watching Mama Rock and Roller, we hope that you are thoroughly enjoying this and that your son is doing you incredibly proud.
Yep, as we see Calaman with a huge hit on Turing Pest, recycling him to the outside with Azazel as well in that tripod for Columbia. Turing Pest again to the outside. Just 1 point scored there by Denmark. 17 for Rock and Roller in the jam for Columbia.
Brilliant stuff. Now, folks, that is full time. We'll, of course, wait for our official final scores. But what an incredible game. Truly a game of two halves, at the risk of sounding like other sports.
How dare we sound like mainstream sports?
How dare we? If you have enjoyed this, if you are enjoying this, just quickly, official final scores are 101, excuse me, 101 Denmark, 253 Columbia. If you are enjoying this, please do keep in contact with us. You can contact us via Twitter using @MensRDWC, on Instagram at MRDWC 2018, or you can Snapchat us at MRDWC. We love to include stuff from you on the official review roundup show this evening. So please, if you're having viewing parties, I'm aware it's now the weekend, and hopefully you've got some time off work and you're getting to watch all of this wonderful action. Please tweet us in your viewing parties. Let us know your highlights. If we get them early enough, we might even be able to add them into our highlight reel. You never know.
How exciting.
Right?
So we are seeing some replay on the screen. We're just seeing the skate-arounds from the two teams. We've just seen Denmark go past us on the announcer table, and Colombia making their way around as your winners of this game.
And that is, of course, the tournament finished for both of these teams. That is the last games. That'll be the same case for Philippines and Poland next door.
Yep, I think all the other teams have got at least one more game, so it's just these that were playing their last game, which is why we had the national anthems.
Indeed.
So some great camaraderie here, as we can see a breakdown of the points per jam. So you can see Colombia had really good momentum towards the end of that game. Lots of leads, lots of points. Yeah. Not so many for Denmark. They're having a bit of penalty trouble. Yeah. I can only think that the less number of skaters on their roster probably didn't help them.
Absolutely. And that's something to kind of take forward for 2020. I mean, start recruitment now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start building up your squads and go in for the next Men's Roller Derby World Cup, wherever it will be hosted. I've heard whisperings there might be some information about that tomorrow. Yeah,
I think there's going to be an exciting announcement tomorrow about that. But if you know anybody with Danish heritage or is Danish, get them to contact Team Denmark. Maybe they could be playing here in the next Roller Derby, Men's Roller Derby World Cup.
And don't forget, under the Men's Roller Derby Association rule set, regardless of your gender, if you are eligible in terms of your heritage, go for it. So we will be passing over in just a couple of moments to the fantastic Mary Chaos for an interview with one of our Colombian players.
And it looks like she'll be interviewing number 33, Zuluaga.
Folks, make sure you stick around. We're going to pass over to Mary Chaos and go for it.
All right, I am here with Zuluaga. Yes. I have also heard that you're called Mano. Yeah. So, Colombia, this is your first World Cup. How did you get the team together to even start preparing for this?
Well, actually, it's like a longer process. We were willing to go to Calgary 2 years ago, but unfortunately something happened and we couldn't make it. So this is like our kind of, okay, let's do it. And it was, in a way, easier for us to come this year. So like we started a process like 2 years ago, and we finally managed to put a great team together of about 17 skaters, which 15 came here, and that's how we did it.
How many leagues are represented?
I don't have the exact number, but we have. Let me try to make the count. 2 leagues from Bogota, a league from Bucaramanga, a league from Almira, and 2 international leagues. I hope I'm not getting anyone out, but.
That's fine. And one last question. Now that you're done for the weekend, what are you all very excited to do?
Well, for starters, it's like a dream come true to be around so many great skaters, to see like actual magic happen, because this is something that you don't get to see like in Colombia. But also like to learn a lot. Like we have learned a lot, and it's like a really enriching experience. And we just want to have fun for the rest of the weekend, enjoy the next bouts, because they're going to be great. And that's it.
All right, perfect. Congratulations on your win. And Zuluaga from Colombia got another win. I am Mary Chaos, and stick around for Australia versus England here on the Roller Derby City track.